specific to a union is, a union takes direction from its members. They usually have processes to balance their members.
What about
A corporation?
Pennsylvania, in the teacher, you have to go to teacher, you have to be part of the teacher union. I think that inhibits their...
I'm not sure that that's right. I think whether you're in a union or not, I'm more inclined to say that that ought to be a matter of choice. I'm not entirely comfortable that it should be compulsory to be in a union. But a corporation, they don't ballot their people to say how should we spend that money. And if you think about the shareholders in a union, it's in a company, say, it's not one share, one vote. It's the one shareholder, one vote. It's the number of shares that says what you can do. So that doesn't represent the will of the collection of people that are in that company or associated with that company. It represents the people who have a financial stake, and those people might not even be American. They might be a group of wealthy Chinese or French or South African business people. Why does that corporation have to have influence in American government?
In American political system? Yeah, I think so. I think about some of the other grievances on the Occupy Wall Street, such as that higher education should be free and that healthcare should be free, things like that along those lines, and that the 1% doesn't pay enough. No, I mean, what?
I'll tell you what I think about that. I'll speak to you from my personal experience. You can hear that I'm not originally from America. I became an American citizen this year. So I went to school in the UK. My dad's a veteran and he worked as a welder. He definitely would not have had the money for me to go to university, so for him to pay as my parents. And being working class, we have a huge horror and fear of getting into debt. I'm sure that if I had to sign up for the kind of debt that some of you guys are signing up for, I would never have gone to college, and I probably would not be in the job I'm in today. So I went to university, and the British taxpayer pays me to go to university. And now, I'm very proud to pay taxes, because I feel like my taxes help to give somebody else the opportunity that I have. I have a great job, and I have a great job because somebody invested in me and enabled me to go to school. And now that I have a great job, I expect to pay more in tax than somebody on a low income. And I expect somebody who earns $500,000, $1 million to pay more than me. For me, that's why I elect a representative to work with other people, to study that, and to propose something that, as a republic, people can live with. From my point of view, if I was earning $2 million a year and you asked me to pay 50% tax or even 75% tax on what I earn over $2 million, seriously, I would never have thought. I mean, I don't earn $2 million. It would never have occurred to me in my life that I would earn $2 million in a year. You want me to get 50% of what I earn over $2 million away? Hell yeah! I have no problem with it.
Well, it seems to me that the top 1%, I think the United States makes something around 20% of national wealth. They're paying for 40% of our taxes. So if it continues to increase where they're paying more and more and more, and the lower classes are paying less and less, it seems to me that it's going to perpetuate that.
That's right. They're paying more and more in part because the lower classes have less and less. I mean, there's a lot of complaints about the 43% who don't pay taxes. Maybe some of that's legitimate. There could be some people in that 43% who, perhaps are not doing what they ought to be doing. I'm not going to say all of those people are noble.
I work a minimum wage job. I think I should pay taxes. I could file.
I mean, I personally think that below a certain level, if you're on the breadline, I'm not about to say you've got to pay 5% if you don't have enough money to live on already. What I know is that in the last 30 years, productivity in America went up by 80%. And wages only went up by 8%. The inequality is increasing. So if you're in the top 1% or the top 0.1%, and you say, well, I feel I'm paying too much, I have sympathy for you if the difference between you and everyone else is not so big. But when that difference is so huge, I don't feel bad anymore about asking you to pay more in tax, because I would expect to pay more in tax as well. I don't expect anyone to do anything that I wouldn't do myself.
Okay. I think there are always going to be rich and poor, but the thing that I'm concerned about is that how does poverty is defined in the United States is much different than it is defined in other countries. Most Americans are considered below the poverty line have TV, have air conditioning, have a microwave, some of them have cars, like 30%, something like that. I mean, do you think these people are legitimately poor and are going to need like exemption if they have amenities such as those?
I think there's a lot to talk about in terms of where poverty is. You asked me a second ago about healthcare. I can tell you another small story.